Hi, Seth here with BlenderSensei.com. Today we're going to be wrapping up talking about a slew of new features for Hacker version 1.2. And in this video, we're not going to be really covering so much new features as we are some updates to the default template files that come with Hacker. So Hacker makes use of template files. That's just basically .py files sitting in a folder somewhere in 3 different ways. So if we right click, we have code inserts, which this makes use of templates by allowing us to create little pieces of code that say we use a lot or something and have this dynamic menu that just kind of follows this simple logic tree of what the thing is. And then we click on it and it inserts that code at whatever location the cursor happens to be in the open file. And then we have the other way that templates are used in Hacker, and that is as a reference. And so say we want a quick reference to hotkey event types, we click that, and this will automatically pop up the reference into a new window. And this is great for copying something, getting a hold of it, and then pasting it into our code. And then finally we have templates, which is, the most basic use of templates. Just open the file so we can do something with it. So there have been various upgrades to these template files, but I'm only going to talk about 2 examples in this video. So one enhancement was made for code inserts for pop-up messages. So if I were to right click and under code insert and then menu pop-up, we could say do just an OK button here. And this inserts all the code necessary as well as comments to create a pop-up message with an OK button. And if you're seeing all this and thinking, wow, that's pretty verbose, we also have the option in Hacker to strip comments and imports. So if we were to, under more tools, preferences, and under templates, select strip code inserts here. If we were to select the same item, I'll select all that and delete it. If we were to enter the same item, code insert, menu, pop-up, OK button, we just get the operator without the needed imports to make it work or the initial notes. But actually, we do need those right now for this example, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off. So we get the full Monty, as it were. Delete that, and then code insert, menu, pop-up, OK button. And this gives us everything needed. Tips to make it work in various locations, as well as all the imports needed. Okay, so what was added to this pop-up, basically all the pop-up code types, is one is the ability to include break in your strings and automatically create break lines in the message of the pop-up, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. We've also added a default value so you can set the width of your pop-up from the UI, either as like in a menu or a panel or something, or directly as a call to that menu. We've also added an optional cancel function. So basically, if for some reason a pop-up shows up and the user doesn't press OK, you now have a way to make some code run if the user decided to just wander off instead of pressing OK. All right, so how do we get this to run? Well, we need to register this class, which houses this operator here. So I'm going to double click on this item. So we could press Control C, and we need to register this class. So let's right click, code insert, operator, register, and let's fill in the contents there instead of the generic contents it had. So after registering that class, we then need to execute it or make a call to it. And so to do that, we have in the options how we can do this. So here's the in-code example, and there's the same example, but in UI, like in a menu or a panel or something. So we'll just copy this whole bit, Control C, come down here, Control V, highlight all this stuff, right click, and then come down here, which shows the default right-click text editor menu to toggle these comments off. And this will call this guy here. So this should be enough. I'm going to go ahead and right click, toggle console, so we can see what happens or if there's an error, and clear it so we're not confused by the previous junk that was in our PyConsole. And then right click, run script, and this causes our message to pop up. And you can see it says basic pop-up message. This is some text, here's some more text, and some more text. And so what's great about these pop-up messages, it automatically breaks the text. So you can just send this, whatever your pop-up is, a single string, and it's smart enough to never truncate this text or whatever. So as you can see, there's a break between here, but we could have multiple paragraphs or whatever we wanted. And if we press OK, it says the OK button was pressed up in the info editor, as well as we can see it printing to the PyConsole. However, if we were to do the same thing, right click, run script, and we were just say get distracted or decide not to do whatever and wander off, notice it says you left without pressing OK. And that is because we put this here in the cancel function. So that can be really useful when trying to decide what your add-on should do when presenting the user with an option that they end up choosing not to use. Okay, so let's take a second and look at this call here. And I'm going to go ahead and dismiss my console for right now. Let's break this down a little bit. First of all, we're able to set the box width of this pop-up in this new default template here, which is pretty cool. So it's 400 right now. We could set it to, say, 100, and then right-click, run script, and it looks like this, which I don't know, maybe you want it that way, maybe you don't. And then message here, this is just a single string. So in Python, typically a string will look like this, this is a string, it's just some words or some content in between single or double quotes. Of course, they have to be the same on either side. But to make things nice and tidy, you can also house a single string inside parentheses. So I could say my single string is the name of this variable, string variable, and we could add a parentheses here, parentheses here. Here is some stuff, and we can break this into multiple lines and add as much stuff as we want. More stuff, more stuff. And as you can see, I leave a space at the end of this because this is basically just concatenated as one single string here. So that's what's going on with that. So you could have as long a message as you want. And as you can see here, I took an extra line to put this break where the break shows up, but that's not necessary. I just did that to make it easier for me to read. For instance, we could, let's say, we're going to copy this, and it's not going to make sense in terms of reading. It's going to look more like some lorem ipsum text, but I just want it to be able to see this a little bit more. Also, this spacing I'm doing right now means nothing to Python, so long as these are all complete strings inside the parentheses. That's just me being obsessive, just so you know. So we could have this like this, and this would still break. So if I press right click, run script, see the break is still added here. Or we could add a bunch of random breaks wherever. And this is just a really simple, nice way to make prettier pop-ups in Blender for your add-ons. See, now we got all kinds of breaks here. All right, so gonna try to kill two birds with one stone here and show you how you could use an example of this pop-up in an actual add-on, as well as a really cool new feature. Is it a feature? It's really just an updated template file, but one that makes the advanced add-on template that you can use in Hacker much cooler. So I'll show you what I mean here. Let's go ahead and close this out and that out. We don't need that. Let's go ahead and make a new add-on. I'm going to click Hacker's Navigator. Under add-ons, I'm going to press plus. We'll choose this advanced template for our new add-on. We'll call this Ultra Mega Pro. Is the name of this add-on. We'll press OK. This creates us a new add-on. We're going to immediately see that it is now inside of the user add-ons. If we wanted to, we could straight up just export our add-on to a zip file and immediately be able to share it or do whatever. I'm going to press run script, and open this up where this basic add-on will display, and you can see it displaying here in the UI shelf, I guess is the technical name of this side now in Blender. And this is just our basic simple add-on that we use for an example. A big part of the advanced template in Hacker is that it allows you to make very fancy multi-paged add-ons with very little overhead and very little work involved understanding exactly what's going on. So if we click the Hacker Navigator, come to where our add-on, all its files are located, we can see its init file, and then under the code file, we can see the all and the ops page. If I click on the all file that was automatically generated, the purpose of this file is to house all of your imports. So if you use this advanced template setup in Hacker, then all of your add-ons will only require housing your imports on one page, and you won't have to do it for multiple pages. What was previously missing from this advanced add-on setup is in the advanced ops pages. So if we come back here, click ops, was a little bit of code that allows us to immediately access whatever changes we make to the all.py file across all files in our add-on. And so this is super huge in terms of being able to speedily develop your add-on. Okay, so back on the ops page here, let's add a new operator. So what we're going to do is basically add a pop-up message to our panel here. And so I'm going to give myself a little bit of space here. I'm going to right click, code insert, operator, no, menu pop-up, and the OK button one like we did before. Of course, we got all this junk here. As you can see, we've got the UI example here. So we'll want to put this where our panel is, and we do all of our UI stuff in the init file of our add-on. You can kind of imagine your init file as a style sheet if you're familiar with HTML. That's how I kind of like to conceptualize them with Blender add-on development. Obviously, depending how advanced your add-on is, I mean, if it ends up being something that's like 30 pages or 30 files big, you might want to have a whole separate set of files that handle UI specifically. But in most cases, I think it's nice to think of the init file in this way and then leave operators and other code to other files. So I'm going to right click this, Control C, head over to that init file. As you can see, Hacker very lovely and very nicely in the Hacker text tabs here. It doesn't just say init, it lets you know what add-on or module that init file belongs to. So we click back there, and we want to go to where this stuff is being put, which is this UI shelf right here. And we'll scroll down to the bottom and paste this stuff and select this and right click edit text, edit toggle comments, and gotta get that line too, and select all this and then tab it over to where it's in line. Back on the ops page, we can get rid of this stuff, and we could just leave the imports there, but that would be very sloppy and not great. So what's great with this advanced template set is that you can have all of your imports, as I mentioned before, on a single page, as well as all of your global functions immediately accessible across all files. So let's take these and Control X, and let's head over to the all file of our Ultra Mega Pro, as you can see in the file readout here at the top. Of course, if you ever want to see the entire Blender file readout on your computer, you can press that. So let's paste this under all our global imports and get rid of everything we don't need. We don't need that BPY. We don't really need the string or int property imports because we're already importing all property types right here. That's what this means. From bpy.props import all the things is what this means. So we don't need these. And we've already got that one, we don't need that. So it looks like the only one we actually need is this wrap from the text wrap module. So I'm gonna Control X to copy that, and I'm gonna paste it up here because I like to put like items together. So now what I can do is simply right click and press run script. And you'll notice that this went from being unsaved to saved. And that's a convention for that Hacker does. So right click, if I go right click, more tools, preferences, under run options here, we've got this option to save module and run, which says save scripts in any folder named modules within an add-on or any file named all.py when pressing run script. And what that does is it prevents us from forgetting to save this or save a module we're working on to make sure it's accessible to all the other files within the add-on we're working on, which is awesome. So now we should be able to go back to the ops file. We do need to Control-C and copy the name of this operator we added and add it to the classes that are going to be registered here. And obviously we would probably want to give it a more specific name than basic pop-up OK. Would likely want to change that, but that should be good. We can then right click, run script there, and then also rerun the init script, run script there. And now you see that pop-up message. So if we click it, something's not going entirely right because this should have stuff in it. Let's see what went wrong. Right click and toggle console. What did we do wrong? It says name wrap is not defined. Okay, so in the all file, we ran the script, which automatically saved and ran the script. And thanks to the code that's automatically added whenever we add an ops page, here, this will automatically re-import the all file. But I think we did that slightly out of order when we ran these scripts. So this one should be run after. And so if I clear that out, so I can test it again, we get the full original pop-up there. You left without pressing OK. Okay. This little piece of code allows you to add functions that can be accessed across all the different files in your add-on and then automatically access. Of course, you have to do it in the right order. You have to press run scripts on the all file first and then on the whatever ops file. For instance, say I wanted to add another page of operators, but something much more specific, like I'm going to make like 10 operators that only do this one thing with curves or something as a part of a bigger part of my overall add-on. I could come here, come down to the code folder, press plus, and new item name is going to be, let's say, curve ops, and select from template, add-on, ops, advanced template, press OK. And this adds us a curve ops file here with this same code. And then we can just immediately get to creating new operators for curve stuff and then run the script. And it will be able to immediately make use of whatever changes we did to our all file, or say we added a function here that we wanted to be accessible on both the curve ops and the just generic operators file. We could do that. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. If you are interested in checking out Hacker, please visit blendersensei.com/hacker or just click on the links in the description, and I'll see you next time.